Oh, totally forgot to do my new intro. Hi, Tiller! Hi friends! We are about to dive into BOCA of Dreamcatcher. For those of you who have been following along, I've been doing kind of a Dreamcatcher, I've been calling it Dreamcatcher deep dive, but really it's a Dreamcatcher wade through of their title tracks because my sister and I tomorrow will be seeing Dreamcatcher live. And this will be her second time seeing them. This will be my first time seeing them. I assume not my last, I suspect. But the thing is, I thought it'd be fun to kind of do this as a way of leading up to the concert. This was kind of my idea. I think this was my idea. Unsurprisingly, my sister and I kind of fell behind a little bit in terms of things because of just how busy one can be and one kind of gets. The thing is, we have now entered the dystopia arc. So obviously, I already reacted to Scream. As of the recording this video, I've recorded it and edited. I just haven't posted it yet. And now, obviously, we're skipping over, with the exception of Deja Vu, which actually was a comeback, and this special single, Rose Blue, they've all only been title tracks. I've also been skipping over the Japanese titles, just haven't had time for it. But we've also entered the Handong and era of Dreamcatcher, with Handong kind of literally being stuck but home with her family, thankfully, but it's stuck in China and not able to come back to Korea. And so for a while, Dreamcatcher, obviously you guys know this already, Dreamcatcher had to do their promotions without her. So we saw with Scream that when it came to the music video, when they performed as a 7-member group with a dancer filling in for Handong. And then, as my sister said on stage, it's going to be just the 6 of them. Probably had to rearrange it a little bit. Now we're diving into BOCA. Now, I've actually seen BOCA a couple times, but I said before, there's a big difference between watching something and reacting to it. When I react to something, I kind of turn on my, my technical kind of goggles and turn that up and sort of really pay attention to what technically is going on here, actually pay attention to the lyrics. And now that because I actually know a little bit more about the members, their actual names, I can tell Handong and Yeonju apart now when I watch these videos. Not that it matters with Handong right now. It's a new perspective, basically. I do like the song. One of my favorite parts is Dami's part when she goes, "Hold up," like it's everyone's favorite. It's so good. But now I'm going to really start paying attention to it. Obviously, we're going to kind of skip over some of the Japanese stuff, and then we'll get into Odd Eye, which is the third part of the Dystopia series. From there, my sister will join me again. I can't remember if I'm doing Because Alone, but we had to hurry up because after these couple songs, it's like, Anything else to say? Nope. Obviously, if I'm while I'm watching it on YouTube, I'm gonna pause. Everyone pauses. I'm trying to go pause crazy. Other than that, there's really nothing else to say. So without further ado, let's dive in. Alright, so something I forgot to mention last time is that my sister mentioned that each of these music videos for the Dystopia, first being the Tree of Language, now being kind of part 2, Lose Myself, is they each represent hear no evil, speak no evil, see no evil. So I'm assuming because boca means mouth in Spanish, and this is about kind of blah, 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 kind of people who just kind of open their mouth, but you know, basically just dumb stuff. So we assumed that Scream was about hear no evil, BOCA speak no evil, and Odd Eye obviously being about see no evil. Which I'm curious to see how they're apply that. I'm sure that concept of itself with the monkeys has been kind of wildly distorted over the years, as everything is. But I am curious to see how it's going to be applied here. Now, obviously, when I when I watch these reactions, when I do my reactions, I turn the subtitles off during the initial reaction. Subtitles off during the initial reaction, and then in between the reaction and the review, I rewatch the video, turn on the closed captioning. That way, I can kind of have a better idea of what's actually being said. Anyway, without further ado, sorry. I have seen this music video, though, I've said before. What's cool is now we're into the, urban, or literally urban decay, almost. Oh, I love that haired saying on BOCA. Oh, I forgot that Brian starts this song. My favorite part. I'm gonna have to turn the... Honestly, BOCA is super fun. It's a lot of fun. I love how it starts off with Gaian's vocals, and the Yuyun's, and then we'll get, Dami's now established deep use of her lower register when she does her raps. And then coming in with, these pretty... with Gio. So I love those moments when you have these really higher registered voices, or use kind of the head voice mainly, and then you have this deeper voice kind of literally whoa, hold up. So I am curious when I turn the lyrics on how hold up, I'm a geeked up big paradox plays into the rest of the lyrics. But this is a very fun, this is a fun music video, I know it is. I gotta pay attention to this though. So this kind of plays back into the mask, so now the masks seem more melted. They're almost like they're protecting a little version of the tree we saw earlier. And then the red thing mask. Oh, Shion has a really cool moment too with this long held high note. I know, I gotta pause. I know. Every time I play, I always pause right before Dami comes in. It's like the rap. And then we're gonna get a guy and Dami pair up, which I love those moments. It's just like with Twice when you get the I would say Dubu. Diane and Chaeyoung, when you get them together and they have their rap duets. I love those moments so much. It's really cool when they have their own separate ones, depending on the song, but I love it when they're kind of together. It's super fun. Oh, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, so we see these melted faces. It's almost like a play on the masks we saw with Scream, but now instead of being kind of these really strong, kind of very hard to tell, you can't tell who's under their faces, they almost seem melted and scarred, but they also seem kind of transparent. Almost like we're starting to actually see a little bit more of who's underneath the mask. And I mentioned last time is that people think because they're behind a computer screen, anonymity and all of that they can say what they want and do what they want. And people will do and say things that they would never say in real life. Or if they're thinking it, they would never say it out loud. It's people allow, basically, it kind of, whatever self-control a person has can disappear very quickly on the internet. I've experienced that too, where I was like, you know what, I don't need to say anything here. I don't need to comment. I don't need to do this. I listened to a podcast called Sheologians, and it's super helpful with me. It has been helpful for me in terms of how to handle social media. I've gotten rid of Facebook because I realized I don't need to be on there. And I've deleted Instagram temporarily off my phone because I'm like, you know what? I'm irritable and angry. I wonder why. Oh, wait a minute. And literally like 2 days after I deleted the app, I was like, I'm in such a good mood. Nothing's changed. What's different? I wonder why. The idea of this trend kind of like I can do and say what I want, but with the increase of technology, they can actually figure out who you are. So we've seen examples of with Mamamoo dealing with defamation and other things. Defamation is a very serious thing. It was serious back then, it's serious now. And so you see all the time people making up lies about not just idols, but like other people as well. And them being able to properly sue them because these people are literally trying to defame their character. And it's like, well, now we can actually kind of stop you. But again, it's not super anonymous. It's not as anonymous as you think you are, just because it's also interesting because a lot of these people are cowards too. That there's an example of an actor was saying some awful things about another actor. Those two happened to be at an event, and the actor that was having bad things said about him went up to that actor and went, "Why were you saying that stuff about me? Like, just talk to me." And it was like night and day, completely different. The actor was like trying to like, the other guy was trying to like, pull back what he said. It was like, oh, I didn't mean it or whatever, and then he just doubled down later on. So it also kind of shows just how hypocritical people are. Yeah. Oh, I forgot Guyan comes in first. She looks really good with the pink hair. I like how she has the pink and the blue hair that complements each other well. I know it's a pre-bar. I just want to say there's a really fun moment where I was picking my sister up from work and I turned around and told her to make sure she locked the door when they're closed and not just leave it unlocked. Even if they're closed and the sign's off, like, lock it while you're in here. And literally when I said that, BOCA was playing and Dami was going like, lock the door, lock the door. I was like, yeah, lock the door. Oh, that's Sua's notes. It is cool to hear when you listen to, oh, that's going backwards. It is cool to hear when you have groups the longer they are together. That they do start sounding very similar. Sometimes their high notes or their head voice like that. So I think it'll be a while for me to figure out like who's singing what, like what their voice texture is, or timbre, I think is the word. Oh, that was cool. I think that plays a role later on. The weapons, like in Maze on her vision. Oh, did she get hit with the arrow that was launched? This is Xian, I know that. Oh, I'm assuming they're going to perform this, but I hope they do, because it's such a beast song. Nice. Interesting how the mask at the end, English, right? I speak that, right? The mask at the end it's like paper mache, but there's a bunch of words on it. Words. Okay, anyway, I am going to replay the music video, rewatch it, see if there's any visual stuff that I missed the first time around, which probably did, and turn the closed captioning on so that the translating one, so I actually know what they're singing, and then talk about the songs. So, jump cut. I really enjoy the lyrics, especially if I hope that these are translated well. Sometimes translations can be kind of iffy, but I love lines of injury without a blade. I know you don't have to tell me. Kind of telling InSomnia is, we've experienced what you've experienced too. Alright, we understand exactly what you're going through. So I'm trying to watch it a little bit and trying to figure out, it looks like he's holding something. So I'm assuming he's one of like the mouths that's kind of just going off. And again, behind like these masks. Also, what the masks do is that, since it's not like that dancer, specifically that person, that mask allows you to fill in the face of whomever it is that's being a jerk right now on the internet. But Something I also wanted to pay attention to, so I looked up a little bit, not the whole performance video, but one of the performance videos about what exactly when they do the movements. So they start like this, and they open up like that, BOCA, and then she curls her fingers in a little bit, which makes it a very simple kind of sharp kind of movement. But what also reminds me of is that there's Bible verses, there's other phrases like it too, about fools and people who open their mouths, people who bare their teeth, and kind of just, they are troublemakers. They seek out evil, they seek out to cause evil, that is what they do. They have great joy in it. They know exactly what they're doing. It's not a mental illness or something. They are narcissists who purposely do this stuff because they want to, for whatever reason. And they bare their teeth, and they behave like animals, and it's really messed up. But I like that that I don't know if that's why their fingers curl in like that, almost like baring teeth, but I actually really like that. I also liked, which we didn't really see in the music video, is at the end of the choreo, they do, I can't remember if it's Yuyeon or Jiu that's sitting in the middle doing that, but the others cover each other's mouths. Let me see. But I love the lyrics. They're a lot more easier for me to understandable. I like that. Why do you fill your precious time with hate? So kind of like, this is also, I think this song is a little bit geared towards those who are causing, and maybe a little bit towards the people who are also experiencing it. So it's kind of addressing a couple different people. But she says, like, why are you spending all this time like this? And it actually kind of reminds me a little bit of, I like watching Youngji's show No Prepared. And it's actually through a show that I learned, like, who Hoshi was, and I learned a little bit about Key, and I learned how much of a sweetheart and a soft Sunmi is. She's so beautiful and charismatic and so cool, but she's such a softie. Which makes sense why her and Solgi are, like, really good friends, because they're both really sweet people in real life. But there's a moment when Chaeyoung and Nayeon had come back. Nayeon had, the first time Chaeyoung had returned on her show, and Youngji had asked about, how do you deal with comments like this, like really awful, evil ones. And I've, during a certain situation last year with a certain awful person who was like going was sort of searching out Nayeon, I also learned about different fans and groups and Twitter accounts whose goal is to protect these groups. Protect Twice, protect Nayeon, protect this, protect that. I'm sure Dreamcatcher has their own versions of it too. But they search out people who purposely say awful things. And I don't just mean like annoying things like they can't sing or they can't dance, like really vile, evil things. And manipulate pictures and do other really gross stuff on there. And their job, like these fans have taken upon themselves to search out those evils and get them taken down, because they legitimately should not be on there. They are awful, evil things. Not just saying, I mean, first of all, they're lies, but they're just, I mean, it's just like these awful people. And these are people, they're like that in real life too. They probably don't have friends, or if they do, they're just as messed up and awful as they are. And if this is what you're like online, you're clearly not a pleasant person. Because like I said before, when you're online, your self-control kind of, it's easy to not exert self-control over yourself and to just open your mouth like a fool. And it's like, well, if you have so little self-control that you can't even say anything positive about anybody, and you decide to say just evil, ridiculous stuff, then I wouldn't want to get to know you in real life either, because you're actually just as awful. Because what we're seeing on the internet is what you have inside. So it's not like, you know, oh, I forget what verse it is, but it talks about the heart, and it's like you can't get sweet water and bitter water out of the same fountain. Okay, you can't have good fruit and rotten fruit from the same tree in terms of like what it produces. And so if a person is saying awful evil things on the internet, it doesn't mean they're going to be wonderful online. That's not how that works. People try to, like, you know, compartmentalize themselves like that, and they justify themselves like that to some degree, but that's not a holistic way of living. I'm kind of also I have the song in my ears, so my brain's kind of going. We also get words a little bit, but this time, instead of getting the words via, so with Scream, we got a lot of them through crystals and digital, and we have runes, like a different language. And then this time we're getting the printed word, media, other stuff like that. And obviously this has to do with, like, online bullying. Oh, it's Jew at the end. Oh, wait, you can see the little bit in there kind of mouth too. Even though this is mainly about cyber bullies and people kind of just, like, opening their mouth like fools, we also see that with the media too, especially in the States, but in other countries as well. People who just open their mouths and blah blah blah, and they spread fear and they spread lies because they don't know what truth is, first and foremost, and because spreading lies gets some more clicks. You know, lies fly on faster feet, whether it's the media or whether it's just in general social media. So citizens, more or less, you're gonna have fools everywhere. They're gonna lie, they're gonna open their mouth, they're gonna grit their teeth, they're gonna bare their teeth, that's the phrase I'm looking for, and they're just gonna cause harm because it's what they want to do. And some people can get called out of it and they'll grow out of it. Some people do, but many people don't, because they're just awful, evil, bitter people in real life, and to them, they're going to spread that evil and that bitterness because they're children of darkness. I did have a little heavy there. Anything else to add? No. I knew I liked BOCA. I love BOCA. It's a fun song. It's really good. Both Scream and BOCA, and from what I remember of On I, are really strong songs. So the dystopia arc is really cool. But I love, after we got through their, like, initial growing pains, after we got through the nightmare realm, so to speak, it's really after the Nightmare series that the Dreamcatcher really started coming into their sound, into their look, with the help of, really great producers, really awesome choreographers who understand the dream of Dreamcatcher, who understand them. So someone had mentioned that they're recently having some changes in producers, so I'm intrigued to see how the sound and the feel will change, if it will change, and how much so. But other than that, there's nothing else to say. So I'll have to figure out a longer outro than just till next time. But yeah, till next time.